Greetings, this is Professor Fuller, and the purpose of this video is to discuss the research paper for BUS310. Much of the information that you need to begin can be located in D2L. I want to show you all of the resources, then we're going to discuss the steps. However, it's important that you understand when I show you the resources not to be overwhelmed, as I will visit them in an overview to begin with and then in detail at the end of this video. All of the resources can be found in the content area. There will be an area entitled Formal Report Resources. This will include the information such as your purpose statement draft design sheet, the actual report components, how to organize your components, detail of the written research paper and how I grade the paper, an example of an annotated paper, example purpose statements, executive summary tips, and videos on how to do some detailed videos when it comes to cover pages and balancing and other skills that have proven difficult for some of my students in the past. So let's begin with the obvious. The first thing that you'll need to do is to, using the Dropbox, identify what your topic will be. This is what we call the topic drop. The only information that I have to guide you is it must be business related. Please avoid any political items such as war or drugs or the legalization of marijuana or the death penalty. Save that for a great poli-sci class. For this class, we want something business related and hopefully a problem, but it also needs to be narrow enough for you to focus and tackle in a 6-week time frame. So for example, let's say I'm really interested in Google Docs. I use it a lot and I think it's really helpful, but I'm very concerned about the security issues. After all, I'm saving information to the cloud. How secure is it? So I might want to choose a topic such as use of cloud applications in the workplace, for example, Google Docs, and what are some security concerns. This topic interests me because, and then I want you to simply, in 25 words or less, tell me why this topic is of interest to you. Because in order for this to be a successful paper, it needs to be something that you are very, very interested in. All I'm expecting in this Dropbox is the topic and then a brief description. Again, 25 words or less. I would like to have these by June 19th at 10 p.m. Your topic must be approved before you continue on to the next step. After you've submitted your topic, it will then get approved and you're ready for your next step. So let's go back to the next step. The next step is going to be your purpose statement. In the Dropbox, I've placed a folder for your purpose statement. Our goal is to have your purpose statement done by June 23rd. So what is a purpose statement? Well, in the content area, what I've done is I've placed something called a purpose statement design sheet. What you're doing is you're composing a brief paragraph, no more than 5 to 7 sentences, that does 4 of the following things. Number 1, it states a clear problem and/or includes a brief history or startling fact. Number 2, it identifies the specifics about what topics or issues will be researched. 3, it will indicate examples and classifications of the resources that will be used, both primary and secondary. Remember, primary is information that you gather through surveys or interviews. Secondary is a collection of information that already exists and that you find in research. Finally, it has to state a clear outcome. Please make sure your purpose statement does not contain a perceived outcome, is written in a clear and concise manner, is directly related to a business focus or topic, not social justice or political issue, and is specific and not too comprehensive to cover thoroughly. So, for example, on this little worksheet, I've placed an example for you. This is an example of a student who started their own web development business. And they were approached by the California Museum to create a website. They weren't exactly sure where to begin, so this became the focus of their research paper. See if you can identify the 4 items a clear problem, what will be included, examples of the research, and a clear outcome in this purpose statement. Webs4us has been designing and implementing websites to attract new customers and address the current customer needs for over a decade. During this time, technologies and marketing methods have changed significantly and become increasingly affordable. Recently, WRU was contracted by the California State Indian Museum to develop a new and innovative website to increase awareness and access. In the light of a constantly changing needs of their clients and their customers, it has become essential that WRU identify what are the most effective styles, techniques, and technologies that website designers are utilizing for similar nonprofit clients. Additionally, what are the key objectives and benefits of an effective public resource website? Through the examination of these questions, the research will identify some of the topic design strategies and techniques to create a competitive and effective website for CSIM. Research will include a brief history of CSIM and overview of their marketing strategies. Research resources will include the use of art new media, printed and web resources, client customer surveys, and internet marketing design research. The outcome of this report will be a recommended framework, process, and design for an interactive and effective CSIM web presence. The final recommendations will include the identification of the most effective technologies and marketing techniques that will draw public attention and visitor attendance, as well as increase the overall profitability and fundraising base. As you can see through this purpose statement, we have one or two sentences introducing the problem or the challenge. Then we go into what will be researched. Notice how it is very effective in a purpose statement to use questions. If you design a purpose statement with questions, then your research becomes more focused because you're focusing on answering those questions. Then we talk about the research and what resources will include. You do not have to be specific. In this case, we're simply referring to printed media and web resources, not naming the resources specifically. Finally, the outcome and also the recommendations. What will your outcome be? The outcome of this report will be recommendations based upon the information identified in the report. This purpose statement needs to be composed, and the purpose statement needs to be completed and submitted prior to moving on to the next step, which will be the work plan. I'll be introducing the work plan next week after all of the topics and the design sheets and the purpose statements have been submitted. Let's go back to the content area, where I can just briefly touch on the resources that have been placed here for you. The report components document is an actual layout of what you will be submitting. The title page, what will be on it, what I look for, a letter of transmittal, a table of contents, list of illustrations, executive summary, introduction, body, conclusions, recommendations, appendix, and references. To enhance this document, what I've done is I've placed a resource for you, which is actually an annotated example paper. So if you look at the annotated example paper, page by page you will see the cover page, followed by the letter of submittal, followed by the table of contents, followed by the introduction, the body, the conclusions, the recommendations, and the works cited. One of the things I also submit for your review will be the components organization. This will help you know which way is the best way to organize your paper when it comes to writing. First of all, what you're doing is you're thinking, and in the process of creating your purpose statement and your work plan, you're thinking about the parts of the report and you're actually beginning to write. The introduction of your paper actually comes from your proposal, the purpose, scope, assumptions, and methods. You then combine your bibliography. This comes from your proposal because remember, you made recommendations and this is what creates your works cited. It's then important that you gather information through surveys or interviews. That will be your primary research. You then have your title page and letter transmittal. You can compose those the minute that you know what your recommendations are. It is the executive summary, however, that has to be last because you can't know the executive summary until you know your conclusions and recommendations. Then you will prepare the table of contents. If you're doing a table of contents manually, you're working way too hard. So in the resources that I've placed here for you, I've put videos on how to balance a cover page, how to create an auto table of contents, how to do section breaks for your pagination, and also how to do peer review. This is a short abbreviated class and I don't know if we'll have time for peer review. However, if we do, this would be the video that will help guide our work. What I've also done for you here is I have something called the written research report. In this, I lay out how I grade it, what I look for in the report. Please notice the pagination I require and that your entire report is single-spaced. I will take MLA or APA. It is completely up to you, whichever site of references or site works cited works for you. Both APA and MLA are supported. On page 2, I lay out how I grade the report. I then remind you again how to order the report. The title page, the letter transmittal, the table of contents, list of illustrations, the executive summary, body of report. All of these documents will help guide your work. But for this week, your focus is on 2 things. It's identifying the topic, getting approval, dropping it in the topic drop, and then composing your purpose statement, getting feedback to which we can then start on your action report, which is called your work plan. Please, any questions about this video, I will be back online on Thursday between 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. and able to take any of your questions and concerns. You may also email me. Please review this video as many times as needed to get access to the attention and detail that you need for this important formal research paper. Thank you.